There are many ways to make barbecue, but today I'm going to show you one of them. We start off by making a brine solution, which is basically a mix of sugar and water, but we're going to flavor it with a mix of spices. That's oregano, lemongrass. We're going to add in some thyme. That's habanero pepper. Some mint. All of this, we're going to put it together. Once we have our spice mix, take it, add some water, throw them in, add some sugar and some salt. And that's, if you have some leftover spices, throw them in as well. Boil them together to infuse all the flavors. That's how the brine solution looks. You can sieve it or leave the spices whole. So I realized I didn't have any chicken at the house, so I went all the way to Naivas to get me some chicken. I love Naivas chicken because sometimes you can find a full chicken for as low as 380 shillings. That's a full chicken capon, and most of the time they are fresh. Get them, cut it into two, and we are going to do an experiment with both halves. After the brine cools down, dip all the chicken in there and let it stay overnight covered up for best results. To make your barbecue rub, you just mix of spices, some salt, some sugar, and that's it. Whatever spices you have at home. Dry out the chicken with some paper tissues. I use Zesta mayonnaise, eggless mayonnaise, as a binder for best results again. It's very nice. It helps the spices stick to the meat. So we're going to cook this in two ways. On one, we're going to put the barbecue rub, and on one, we're not going to put the barbecue rub, but we're going to cover it in foil and roast it for 1 hour in foil to make it fall off the bone tender. So this one, if it goes right, should be a bit firm but juicy, and this one should be fall off the bone tender. So we're going to apply barbecue rub on this one, just like that. We are going to be grilling this low and slow, a temperature of around 100 to 150 degrees Celsius for 1.5 to 2 hours long. That will ensure the meat is tender, juicy, and it won't get burnt. To make your barbecue sauce, you take your spice rub, some oil, some vinegar, and some tomato sauce for color. That one goes to the back there. This one comes here. The reason we're covering the meat in foil is to tenderize it and cook it with its own heat and flavors for an extra maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour, depending on how tender. After 1.5 hours, we're going to take the meat and finish it off over the open flame just to caramelize the meat and make the skin crispier. The first half of the meat is ready. This was the one with the barbecue rub. As you can see, the spices and the sauces have caramelized. Nothing looks burnt. Oh, that looks good. Nice and tender and juicy. Let's enjoy now. See that? It's cooked all the way through, and the spices have infused into the meat. It's nice and juicy on the inside. Oh, the meat is tender and sweet. You can see after being in the foil, the meat just starts to come off the bone. See, pull apart tender. It is extremely tender. It has retained its color. It's nice and juicy, mate. It looks beautiful. See that? It's already separating.